Hi guys, salamat for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Right, we're here at the house, and like I said, we're actually going to have a look at the XTZ. It's in the field, so let's have a look at this XTZ. Right, I've noticed this morning I have actually, what I've done with this XTZ, right, like I said, my gimbal's not too good now. Right, so what I've done is I've oiled the chain, but before we start, it needs a new chain and sprockets, and it needs an oil change. How do I know it needs an oil change? Have I looked at the mileage? No, it's not the mileage, but yeah, you normally go by the mileage, but no, I ain't actually looked at the mileage. What it is, you can tell, guys, when you're changing gear on a bike, you can actually feel it's not as smooth as it normally is. So I know for a fact it needs an oil change. So let me try and show you that sprocket. So that chain and sprocket, it's not too bad. Well, it's not fantastic. Soon it's going to need a new chain and sprocket. So if you're in the Barnsley area, Oil and Common, UK, England, nip up to Mr. Chochaz's. Here I've got to try and find some good synthetic oil, because this bike only gets good synthetic oil. So I have to actually find some really good synthetic oil. So that's what I need to do, find some really good synthetic oil. So I put some really good synthetic oil in it. Normally gets good petrol in it, whether it's high octane or not. Right, the tyres are still good, they're okay. Like I said, it doesn't really, I don't normally take this bike past 79 kilometres an hour. So I normally go about 60, 79 kilometres an hour. But about 4 months ago, I dropped my girlfriend off in Mercia, and I came back to the house. So I came back to the house. That's the house. So I came back to the house. I think I can't remember, maybe a cup of coffee. So I came back to the house and I thought, well, I'll just, what it was, there were a KX 250. And KX 250 burned past me, shot past me. So I thought, right, so I chased after him. This bike did it easily. Obviously that KX 250, it was geared for low end. So this easily did it. And I got over, I know it goes over, like I said, I don't speed on the bike. It goes over 100 kilometres an hour, don't know how fast that is, but it'll go a little bit more. So that's the bike. What do I think to the bike so far? Well, it's an absolutely good bike. It's just got low, you know, it's low powered, but it's a really good bike, low powered. It's torque. It's torque, really, it needs a bit more torque. So what we're going to do to get more torque? Well, when I actually change, probably see it better from here, guys. When I change that chain and sprocket, I'm going to put an heavier chain and sprocket on it, front and back. So, and like I said, it's getting an oil change, synthetic oil, very, very soon. Because I can feel when I'm going up and down that box, it's not as smooth as it usually is. So what we're going to do to make it more torque, that sprocket there, I'm going to go one more tooth up. I don't know how many teeth's on that sprocket. I haven't counted it, but I need to count it. And then I need to go one more tooth up. Well, will I lose a bit of speed? Well, I need that little bit of torque. You know, when you're going up the mountains, up there, I need that little bit more torque. So that's why I'm doing it. Like I said, it's a decent chain. It's okay if you're not speeding about like a maniac and thrashing the bike. That chain's okay. But like I said, new chain and sprocket very, very soon. So that's what the bike needs. The bike XTR 125. What it needs, really, this is a 250 or a 225 or a KX a KLX or a KLX. I think the KLX 300 CRF 300 would be nice. Would be very nice. Better suspension, all round better bike, but this is a really good bike. So how would I make this faster if I were to start to speed about on it? You only speed, guys, so to speak, when it's safe to do so. You don't speed through Mercia. You go through Mercia very, very slow. Kids around, lots of dogs around. Get to a town, you go very slow, 20 kilometres an hour, 10 kilometres an hour. You need to slow down. But when you get out into the open road and it's safe to speed, what I would do is I'd change those wheels. I'd gear this bike, and what I'd do is I'd gear it by changing them wheels. Obviously road tyres on it. And then what I'd do, chain and sprocket, gear it through chain and sprocket. But as I've said, I want this bike to have a little bit more torque. So, you know, I'm not going to supermoto this bike or speed about on it. It's a 125, but it would be nice to play about with it sooner or later. But I'm not really going to. I just go and buy a bigger bike. You know, a CRF 300, KLX 300. When I've got the budget, that's going to be a long, long time from now. So, what do I think to this bike? Right, let me have a look. Gosh, we've got the key in. And she does actually, there's a knack to it. So I'm going to start bike up. I always turn petrol off when she's sat. She just sits there under the window. No locks on it, no note on it. I could leave this bike here in this field, and that Carabao there wouldn't even touch it. So that Carabao wouldn't be going for a ride, she wouldn't touch it. But by the looks of it, she can get to me. So don't you come and disturb my bike, dear lady. Right, that's the Carabao, she's okay. Right, you'll hear it ticking over. Got an high tick over. Now, that's not so bad, it's using more petrol. But beauty of it ticking over, say if you're in Bacolod City in the traffic, you can pull the clutch in, and then when you let the clutch out a little bit, it actually just pull through nicely. So that's beauty on it. You know, you can pull clutch in it, and if you're going down this road here, down these dirt trails, and it's all sludged up, and there's water, and there's big puddles, and it's very, very slippy, as it normally is, and I mean very slippy. With that tick up, with the tick over being up, it actually helps the bike to pull through, which is nice. It doesn't, in other words, it doesn't stall. You can hear it ticking over. So it doesn't stall, in other words. And when it does, it's never stalled. I mean, like I said, you rev these bikes, it's a 4-stroke, but you really rev it. Now, if you really rev this bike, it will actually go quite nice. But like I said, needs new chain and sprocket. So what do I think to the bike? Well, it's my bike, and it's a good bike actually. It's a good bike for the money, fantastic bike. I'd like to personalise this bike actually, what I'd like to do with this bike, but I'm not going to spend money on it. New pipe, maybe upjet it to the pipe, and I'd like to put a bigger cylinder head on there, 180, 190 cylinder head. But actually, I have actually seen online you can put a bigger CDI, not a bigger CDI, you change electrics, and that'll map it. So you change electrics and that ups the power. Not going to be as reliable in long run, but it should be okay because the bulletproof engines. So you can actually make this bike go very, very quickly for a 12. I don't know what brake horsepower actually. Now if I was going to buy a big bore kit for this bike, quite nice. So if I were going to buy a big bore kit for this bike, I'd want at least 5 brake horsepower, 5 or 6 brake horsepower at least, and a lot more torque, because otherwise it would be just a waste of money, spending a lot of money on this bike. You know, you better just go in and buy a 300. You've already got it, it's already there. You've got better suspension, really good off-road suspension, not motocross suspension. You're going to pay big money, but you've got good suspension. It's insured, this bike's insured for a year. I can go into the city, into Bacolod city. I can park it more or less anywhere on the road, so long as it's not obstructing. So, just common sense when you park the bike. So that's it, guys. That's the bike. Needs new chain and sprocket. Needs an oil change, because when you are changing gear with this little baby, you can just feel it. I can feel it. I can feel when she needs an oil change. She's just not as slick. She just doesn't. I mean, she's like butter when you change that oil. It's really nice. Gears change a lot better. Hey up. Looks like we've got a customer here. Can we help you, miss? What, synthetic? No, sorry, we don't sell synthetic oil here. But I'll pick you some up from Mercia. So I'll get you some from Mercia. So it's synthetic oil for the Carabao's bath with fairy liquid. So that's it, Yamaha 125. Great little bike. No, it's not fast. I keep telling you. I keep looking on YouTube and it keeps saying, oh, 125, very powerful, very quick, very fast bike. No, but actually it can be made quite quickly. I mean, if I jump on this bike now and I thrash it round town, yeah, it's quick round town. It's very quick round town. But so is a lot of other bikes. So are a lot of 125 bikes, other bikes. Would I say it's only your torque? It's just your torque what you need on these bikes, you know, because we've got mountains, big hills, so we need that torque. So that's it, guys. That's what it needs. So it's going to need new brake pads soon, I'm sure. But like I said, and I use that gearbox a lot to slow this bike, and I don't really speed on the bike. I normally ride sensible and I keep to the speed limit. But I've had over 100 kilometres an hour on that bike, and when you rev this bike it does go okay. Now what about this? What about suspension? So what about this suspension? What do I think to suspension? Not very good actually. It's not very good at all. But you know, it's not so bad. Now if you come down this road on a road bike, I can easily come flying past you if I want to, or I can ride slowly. But it's good enough for me to fly down here, but it's not very good suspension for a road bike. But it's okay, but it's not good. It's not got good suspension. It chucks you all over the road, and it pogos you all over the road. So, but that's what you pay money for. You pay big money for suspension. I don't even know what setting it's on. I mean, like I said, if I were going to do something with this bike, I'd strip it, and I'd actually do something with that suspension. I'd probably put a little bit thicker fork oil in that front end. Would it sort it out? Maybe a little bit better, but not much better. It's what I call a budget bike. But having said that, it's an absolutely, for the money, it's a fantastic bike. It's 12 horsepower, a CRF 125. It's 12 horsepower. Sorry, a CRF 150, 12 horsepower. For me, that's as good as any CRF. It's not as good as... It's as good. It's definitely easily as good. Its suspension is good. Probably CRF, KLX, probably a little bit better suspension, a little bit better bike. But you pay a lot more money for a little bit. So that's it, guys. Electric start, you can't go wrong. Lovely bike. Don't like that. I don't like the back hub, but that back hub actually it's good, because I can put all my weight on that back brake when I'm going down the mountain, and that bike never steps out, it never skids. But I don't normally use that back brake. I'm normally always on that front brake, to be honest. And I never touch them brakes if I see a lot of gravel or muck on the road. I never touch them. Even if I'm going too fast, I just try and gear it down a little bit, and then I might try and touch them brakes to slow it down. So that's it. XTZ 125. My honest review, and actually it does need new chain and sprockets. It needs an oil change. I'm not going to spend money on better tyres. I'll put some decent tyres on it. Your tyres are your life. But they're good tyres. I mean, I've hit rocks. I've been, like I said, this bike off-road, it jumps all over the place. It skips about. But them tyres are good tyres. So it holds up okay. So that's it. So if you're in Oiland Common, Barnsley, go and get yourself new chain and sprockets from Mr. Chorchaz's RTT. Right, I hope you're doing well up there, lads. And I hope you've been for your bread there, Philip. Right. So that's it. New chain and sprockets. It's all money. And then that oil. I'm going to change oil first. I'd like a new exhaust pipe on it. I like different graphics. I'd like to do quite a lot to this bike. Maybe one day I will do. But like I said, when I do get a new bike, it's going to be next year. Well into next year as well. It's going to be something like a 300. Unless they're fetching a 600 over here. Depends on the bike. You know, to be honest, them 650, 600s, they are really underpowered. I mean, I've had XRs, XLs. They're just really underpowered. I mean, I had an old XT 350. I think it were red and white, and that you could just go up that road there, up this field, and it would wheelie up throttle, just wheelie straight up throttle. But now they've just got no power at all. Having said that, now they're all fuel injected. And I haven't been on the new bikes. They're all fuel injected. You know, they've got better ABS brakes. Whether that, you know, you're going to be able to go faster, aren't you? Or are you? But me, you're going to pay for it. But like I said, quite nice, guys. Quite nice to have a new bike. It's nice to go into a shop and buy a bike that you really want. Now, when I bought this bike, I just knew it were a good bike and it'd get me everywhere and it won't break down, and it is a good bike. It's a Yamaha XTZ 125, fantastic bike. It's never let me down. Not really, it's never let me down at all. I know I can jump on this bike, I can leave it here, I can jump on this bike in 6 months' time, and bike's good. So it's a good bike. So that's it. That's why I bought the bike, because I knew it were a good bike. It wasn't the bike I wanted. I actually wanted a CRF 300 or a KLX 300. Now, which would I go for? I go for the KLX. I go for Kawasaki. I definitely go for Kawasaki. And Hondas are good. In my day, Hondas were absolutely fantastic. So, but I'd go for the new Kawasaki. Only because I've seen good reviews on the bike. So that's it. I'm stuck with this bike. It's a good bike. I'm happy to have it. You know, any guy here in the Philippines would be happy with this bike. You know, they would be really very happy and proud to have a bike like this. So, that's your XTZ. So, salamat for joining us. And I hope you're having a great day there, Di. And I can hear the kids. Right, so that's it. I'm leaving you with the XTZ 125. Great bike.